Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo. Happy Friday to all of you. I hope you're doing wonderfully, and I hope you've got some cool weekend plans. Let me know what you're planning to do this weekend. I'm going to be running a D&D session for the first time in a little while. We'll be moving towards some serious occurrences that's going to be rough. Might actually get the chance to do that sort of duo fight that I talked about weeks ago, but have had to put off because of the scheduling issues with D&D, the classic. Well, yeah, I think that's basically all that I'm doing this weekend. Yeah, let me know what you're up to. And it's Friday, so we're here for Kimetsu no Yaiba, and I'm pretty excited because last episode was backstory stuff with a particular title, The Mu in Muichiro, and this episode is the next episode, and it's titled Mist Hashira Muichiro Tokito, which makes me think that we're going to take all the internal stuff that we got last episode and bring it to the outside and make it come to fruition and make Muichiro do some actions based on that. And maybe, fight Gyoko real good and even defeat Gyoko solo? I don't think so. So I'm still waiting for Kanroji to arrive and help us with I think she's going to help us with the wood dude, probably, because that's the way that the OP sort of lines it up. But Muichiro needs the sword. Haganezuka needs to finish the sword, Gyoko needs to not kill anybody, Child needs to not die, etc., etc. The important thing is that we've resolved the circumstance of the last episode, which was all of Muichiro's backstory. He's beginning to filter through and pull out his traumatized, repressed memories, which we could understand why he might keep hidden away. And I got really confused over the course of the episode because I thought I was being Fight Clubbed. I'm going to read one comment. There have been a bunch of comments on this, and I appreciate them very much. I asked for them, and you've given them to me, so I'm going to I picked one that I think does the job really well. So this is from Logan Cairns just a few hours ago. Don't worry, you're not being tricked or Fight Clubbed, lol. Muichiro is Muichiro, and Yuichiro is Yuichiro. At the end, I've seen a lot of people get confused there, but it's just Yuichiro speaking to Muichiro from beyond the grave. Except, and this is why I chose this comment over any of the other comments that talk about this circumstance, because everybody stopped there and explaining it except for this one. The truth is, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the manga, actually has a narrator. Oh. Said narrator gives actual, objective, factual statements about the universe occasionally. For example, it explains what happened to Tanjiro and Nezuko in episode 6 of the Entertainment District, and how they both got power-ups at that point. The narrator also should have appeared last episode to explain in detail how Hantengu is able to generate more powerful clones. Said narrator also appears a few more times this arc in the future. The anime doesn't have a narrator, and does one of two things. It either omits it entirely, or it gives the narration to a character who can exposit it. This is a case of the latter. The narrator dialogue is given to Yuichiro to say in the last scene of this episode, and so we get Muichiro's voice actor as Yuichiro talking to himself inside his own mind when he shouldn't be at all, because it should be something different and it should be narrative dialogue because it's out of context, the sequence being said, not even remembered as Yuichiro speaking it, but just being said as knowledge within the context. Yeah. So I've got some gripes with the idea, the removal of the narrator then feels like a bad idea. It's always a tough one. It's one of the big format differences that you get from anime to manga, and it does dramatically change the feel and flow of the show if you have a narrator there. It's an immediate breaking of wall, right? It's an instant unsuspension of disbelief. You do not believe anymore because there's some random dude who doesn't exist talking to you. But if it leads to avoiding confusion in your viewers, then maybe it's worth it. I don't know. It feels to me like the shows that do narrators well do them with a hint of humor to them. Like Kaguya, right? Definitely as a narrator. But I think it can be done. I think it can be done well either way. Regardless, it caused a lot of confusion for me. It's an interesting way of doing it, and it doesn't really matter, does it? In the end, he's not being Fight Clubbed, and even if he was, he's incorporated the shadow thing, so... Speaking of which, I'm really happy. This is just a pat on the back. I'm really happy with today's drawing. I don't know. I think it turned out great. It looks better on camera than it does in person, which is a rarity. And I'm just very happy with it. I liked the idea of the shadow making the guy and the two sides being one side and stuff. It all came together, and I'm very happy. Pat. Okay, Muichiro still has a Gyoko to deal with. We still have a Han Tengu morphified into a very self-righteous boy. Pretty girl is on her way. Please get here soon, pretty girl. We're gonna die without you. Child needs to not die. Izuku needs to finish the sword. That's all the things. I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and watch episode 10 of Mushoku. Mushoku Tensei. What the fuck? Of Kimetsu no Yaiba. Gah! My brain is frizzled this week. Forgive me. Kimetsu no Yaiba. Demon Slayer, Swordsmith Village Arc. Episode 10. Up and ready to go. Beep beep timer. Fuck shilling. Oh, he's getting close. He's got to be getting close, right? He's got to be getting close, right? One eye. He's got it. Yeah, we're not even in phase 2. Oh. We're not even in Gyoko phase 2. We haven't even seen all the jars. He's got a tentacle jar. He's got a water goopy whoopy jar. He's got, shit, there's one more that we have seen that I don't remember. Oh, yeah. I guess, I don't think we're going to do it this episode. I think it'll be next episode that we start diving into it. I want to know what her flip side is. Like, because she's got this, it's not exactly a dark side. Like, Yuichiro feels like a dark side to Muichiro. Her other side just feels drab in comparison. Not as shiny, you know? Normal Pokemon. Normal Pokemon Mitsuri Kanroji. I choose you! That little portion of the OP hits really good. I don't know. I know I mentioned it almost every time that we've come through, but it keeps hitting really good. Lovely. All right. I'm just good. I'm just better than you. All right. Datte. I'm in flow state, man. Yeah, he's really looking down on you. How old do you think people are? Gyoko? Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that. All bad. Yeah. That's why. What? What? What a weirdo. Also, he's projecting? Yeah. Oh. Yes. Yeah. Gyoko-sama? You suck. Oh, we got him. Phase 2. What are those? Are those fish? Where do you keep them all? Gyoko is not good at this. I'm still scared of him. He's still a very scary villain. Very scary guy. But he's so goofy and so stupid. Oh. Never mind. He's got a better play than I thought. Yeah, but the mist, though. Something, something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will get destroyed. Impossible! He's coming, man. Oh my gosh, he just withered. Like a husk? Yeah. Whoa. What's underneath? Ah. Oh, a little bit more snaky. Please do. Phase 2 begins! Wow! Ugh. Wow. Cool. So beautiful. Very grace. Look kind of stupid. You're not bowing. Why aren't you bowing? Bow! Come on! I'm above you! He really does! That was a cool rumble. Oh, what? Everything he touches turns to fish? What the fuck? Who comes up with this shit? Why are you a JoJo's character? Is your godlike power to turn things that you touch? So weird. You'd be such a hit at the fish market. What the fuck? So I started off this episode by patting myself on the back for something, and the whole episode has been Gyoko just patting himself on the back for existing. I'm so cool. I actually really like it. I think it's very funny. It's a perfect foil to Muichiro's just uncaring. Is he trying now? What is... But it's his own arm. Oh my god, he sat there and waited. Whoa. Gonna save ya. Yeah, fully on the brink. Will she say anything that he's not supposed to hear? Sorry, buddy. We're gonna separate ya. Sorry, buddy. Can't, huh? Oh, man. But what, is he amnesiac? To start? Can't stop him. Okay, he did at that point. Just enraged and forceful. Holy shit. without knowing why I'm doing it. Yeah. Yeah, destroy them. Totally unfazed. You sure do go against the laws of what should be natural. What's with the fish, man? No, you. Hi. Hi. It's his own thing. He's like, you can't predict where I am! No, you. You're too slow! I just can't catch you! I think the visuals are great here. No way. No, chat, no way. Huh? No way it's that easy. I found him! He fully can't even believe it! Really? Please, yeah, just go into the darkness. No. Is he gonna turn into dust? Because it's not over yet. Sure you are. Sure. You're gonna take credit for that now? Look, maggots are a sensitive point. No, I think that'll do it. Yep. Holy shit. We're just gonna solo one. Without the new sword. He didn't. That's so weird to see him. That's so weird. Without the new sword, we didn't even need the new sword. What the fuck is the new sword for? That doesn't make any sense. What? Shut the fuck up. Don't you say shit, stupid asshole. This is a different time. Flow like mist. Clear eyes. Can face anything, yeah? And that fades away. What the fuck? Dude, Muichiro is kind of a beast. He's still got tons of problems, but... Hi! You smiled! It's super weird! Are you just gonna fall over? Take him to somebody else! Not him. He's not gonna move. No! Yeah! Put him on his side in the recovery position. Clears. Thank you! God damn it, and it comes around again. The fact that you think you're not a ghost just proves that you are! We saw him get stabbed in the fucking stomach. Okay, he was... How did he have that? What? Oh! It double, triple comes around. Hmm. Oh. Aww. And the memory has meaning. Oh, and the little birch petals fall. And whose hands are those? Oh. Oh, boy. Just fine? Ooh. Yeah, okay. Oni-san. Oh, this is in his voice again. Alright. Yeah. Ah, and on the other side, things I'm sure are dire. With the moon above, wooden dragons' heads. Shaku is length? Duh. Oh no! They got the boom boom blast! Do they have the other powers too? Electrification and stuff? Not enough. What? Yo, Kenya. What did he do to himself? Damn. Incoming? Can we get a pretty girl? Oh! Oh, just from the... Oh! And the opposite of... Oh, they do have all the powers. That's bad. That's bad. This is a perfect time for a pretty girl. Can we get a pretty girl? One pretty girl, please. I call the elemental name of love? Yeah, we're at the edge. Narratively, we need a help. Narratively, we need a help. Whoa! Whoops! That didn't work at all. That's a fun cliffhang. Yummy. Ah, I know people who have this fetish. God, thousands of people's dreams just got fulfilled. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can we get a pretty girl? It's a thing about magical girls. They're never late. They arrive precisely when you need them to. In a twirling swirl of beauty. Uh-huh. Truly. Truly, truly. God, that thing does not seem safe. It's so impossible. Right. I believe it, man. She's too plot armored. Whee! I'm sure we'll get. She knows. Whee! Just in her own world, man. Totally in a different show. So stupid. Come on. The rules just do not apply when you're pretty enough. I could see us actually taking this in a fun direction and having her just get thwomped. It can never happen because she sells so much goddamn merchandise. It can never happen, but it should. But it should. Can you imagine? She's like, I'm gonna go save the day! Smash! Pah! Mist puff! Oh! God, it would fulfill me. It would fulfill me. Can never happen. She's too popular. Something about her innocence, and the gap moe that she's got makes her exceptionally appealing to so many of the men that I've talked to. They're like, oh, she's my favorite. No shit, Sherlock. I wonder why. But that's what's... That's why it would be so perfect. It's like, you could never, ever do anything wrong to this character. I can dream. I can dream. I'm sorry, Kanroji lovers. I like her too. But that's the reason that it would work so well. I don't want the character to die. I want to watch. Misty! Oh, yeah, what are you guys up to? Fuck off. Nah! Hey! They don't care about us. I hope. Fucking Inosuke. I'm kind of glad that it's not their turn. It's been alright without them. Actually, that's not true. Maybe we could have benefited from having them around. Fun fight. The whole interplay between Gyoko and Tokito is pretty solid. He's just totally unfazed by all the goofy shit that Gyoko does, and Gyoko is deeply, deeply fucked up and twisted. And, we don't really even need, like, a respectful, interesting Tanjiro to deal with this fight. You know, I think Tanjiro would have a problem with this one. And here's why. Not because he'd have a problem fighting Gyoko. He would. He's an upper rank demon. Big problem. But I think he'd have a real problem because Tanjiro can't defeat an enemy until he understands them. That's sort of his character trope. He has to get you and have compassion for you, and then he can smell your death, right? Then he sees you. He sees you for what you are, and he can really get you. there's nothing, and Tokito says it in his own line, there's nothing likable, respectable, or compassion worthy about Gyoko. He's just the worst. He's just the worst. So I think it's really good that we get this other character who doesn't really have a sense of morality in the same sense that Tajiro does, to go and deal with him, because he just doesn't hesitate, and he gets to say things that are not main character worthy, like, just go to hell already, God! Which echoes my actual sentiments toward Gyoko, although I'd love to keep him around, put him in a jar, and just let him talk all the time, because he's hilarious. Okay, it's total aside. My fucking, oh god, my D&D party, I rolled a random item for them off of like a third-party foolish thing because I wanted weird items that weren't actually powerful. When you give your party too many powerful items, they get stupid with them. So you want to find stupid items that are weird and interesting, but not actually mechanically powerful. One of the things was, it's just an orb, just a little red orb that a tiny demon has been trapped inside of, and he's really pissed. And he can't get out, but the sound can. And so it's just a little red orb with a little demon screaming inside of it, just mad at you. And in the same way as like putting Gyoko on a jar, my party decided to take that and install it in their ceiling, in their pub, in their tavern, near the bathroom, so that every time you go to the bathroom, this demon wakes up and fucking screams at you until he decides to stop. Brutal. Awful. But that's the kind of thing that Gyoko would be useful for. Being annoying. And awful. And gross. And so I think they knew that and decided to have Tokito take care of him instead. I think that the mist animation stuff is pretty cool, especially later when he does the big burgeoning mist thing, and it's the multiple after images coming through, and then the final strike as it all clears away, and he says the line, "What makes you think you're the only one who hasn't been taking this seriously?" It's pretty badass. That's pretty badass. I like it a lot. Can't complain. Gyoko with dumb fish powers, he feels kind of dumb. Gyoko as a whole is kind of a second-rate upper moon demon. At least he feels that way. Of course, I think if we were to fight him with a different character, it would be way worse for us, right? That's one of the circumstances here. Tokito really is tailor-made to beat this demon. But he feels weak. He feels weak and lame and not as terrifying as Daki Yutaro, but still as twisted and still pretty interesting. The whole slithery, slimy scale thing reminds me of, there's a fish guy in One Punch Man he's King Fishy or something, and he's like almost exactly like this. Deep Sea King. There are a lot of sequences of Deep Sea King that are kind of reminiscent of this to me. Anyway, he's a big scaly fishy boy. Bow and art my perfect beauty. You're not bowing. He really does. I like that we get to bring this back around, that the first impression that we get of Muichiro is, this guy makes the worst impressions. And now, later on, we see that can be useful, because he actually starts kind of winning the fight because of it. I think, besides the mist clearing away sequence, and maybe some of the Kanroji flippy whippy stuff, which is just so fun. It's so Magical Girl having fun with the enemy. I watch a lot of Precure, and it's she's a pretty cure, like, for real. She's a martial combatant having a good time, is the Pretty Cure, like, vibe. It's the aesthetic is like, we're smiling and doing this together and beating the shit out of you. Get fucked! Get fucked, bad guy! Yeah! That's Pretty Cure. Have I sold you on Precure now? I hope so. Whee! Ha! It's great. It's great. I think besides those, this sequence where we get the boom, 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 it's got something to it that is reminiscent of, well, it's what'll happen when you cut the head off of a snake. It'll whip like that as its musculature fires. But also, if you take like a fire hose and you let it go, it'll whip back and forth like that, or a garden hose, or a pressure washer hose, or whatever, right? I like the momentum pattern or whatever, and then that is brought into the pummeling of the fists in a way that I found really compelling when I first saw it. I thought that the sound design on the sequence was really good as well. So all the layers on that one sequence come together really well. It also helps that we start out really slow and then it's impact immediately. Okay, so in context, I'm not really surprised, yada yada, and then suddenly he's here, one frame to show us what's going on, matched to a manga panel, I'm sure, and then clong, 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 clong happens immediately afterward. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's really cool. And it pulls around us, and then we cut out from it. So pulls around us here, and we're pulling the camera around, and then we're going to cut here. Yeah, we cut there, and we're outside of it. Pum, 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 pum. I think that was really well executed. Super small. It's not... It doesn't have the trappings of the bombast as some of the, like, Fate sequences, or some of the big sequences in Kimetsu, but... It does this acceleration into combat and then back out of combat really interestingly, in a really fun way. And we find out that his greatest power, my beautiful, beautiful skill, is to turn shit into fish. Gross. Gross. Just the worst. Just the worst. And on the other side, you suck, man. You can't hit me. And he begins to have fun with it. Sort of. So he goes back and he remembers that boiling fury, that thing that animated him for so long. And we learn in this backstory portion that that was the only thing that was left. When his memories were gone and he didn't have reason, he had rage. And his body wanted to fight. And he didn't know what that meant, but he wanted to do it. And so he kept on keeping on. And this fits to me with some of the perspective stuff that we've had previously and talked about keeping on, even if you don't know exactly where you're going. In Tokito's case, it's very clear-cut, and his driver is rage and fury, righteous though it might be. I don't think that's not something that all of us can take away and be like, ah, yes, I will incite my own furious vengeance. You might not have that. And probably good. You live in a modern society and probably don't have a blood war on, which is a good thing, I think. I think all of us can do with less blood wars. Pretty great. But the idea that even broken and battered, you can turn yourself into someone who will eventually fulfill the promises of the past, or whatever promise might fulfill you, you don't know what that is, as you come back to it and find your true self. The argument that I think the episode makes, as we get the sequence from Kaguya-sama later, he says, once you find your core, what is the exact word? It's not your core self or your true self. It's your unshakable self. That's what it is, and I like that. I think the argument is, and this is the sort of the mystery of it, it takes a little bit of gymnastics to interpret it this way, but forgive me, and let me see if it makes sense to you. The process of finding your unshakable self that we talk about here, is it finding the memory that informs the present? Is it? Is it finding the history in the past, the knowledge of who you are? Or is it all of the training that you've done to become the unshakable self? Because I think that's it. I think whether he remembers or not, the fury that he taps into, the calm that he taps into, the purpose that he taps into, yeah, you can't get that back. But the body that he's built, the skills that he's acquired, the physical capacity that he uses to take down Gyoko, to me, that's the part of him that's unshakable. It's not your name. It's not even the belief in your name. It's not the trust of your family or the history or the failures or successes of the past. It's the work that you've done. It's the stuff that you did during all that time when you didn't know what you were doing. The unshakable self is the self that was not shaken. The self that kept training. The self that kept pushing and working, right? That's how I'd like to see it. That's how I'd like to see it. is that this is really Muichiro. Right here. Even without all his memories, even without everything else. This is really who he is. The training, the pushing, the striving, the struggling, not knowing why. This fury will never leave me. It's why I worked so hard. It's to wipe them out. It's to annihilate them. And he whips around killer fish scales, and it speeds up, and these sequences are pretty cool, but again, we don't care. We don't care. Flip, 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 flip. Yeah, that's a very cool sequence. And the after images are nice, too. I love nothing more than going against the laws of nature. Poof, he's missed. Gyoko's basically fighting nothing now. How can you vanish? What the heck? It's like there's mist everywhere. Crazy. Huh? And he pulls out of the space and it slowly clears around him. As he strides forward so effortlessly and smoothly. The blade comes through and he's gone. Just in a moment. Unbelieving. Continuing to spew his insults. And Tokito just hits him with the truth. Wow! As long as I have my unshakable self, I can dig in with both feet with all my might. Hell yeah. I think both work. No, you need the history too. That is my perspective, I think, is that you need to be grounded in terms of pulling out of the show to my real world perspective. I think you need to be deeply grounded in your past. Family, tradition, history, the past of the literal physical land that you're in, like where you are, know who has lived there before. The historical context and past that has built the civilization that you're a part of, really important. That sort of history, I think, gives you a firmer grounding in reality in the present day than most knowledge of the present will. So I think it's really important. And then you want to know where you really are right now and what it actually means. Like, how big are you? Not very. How big is the world? Pretty big. What is money? What are buildings? What is cities? What are things? Where are you? Where are you at? What is everything? What is its purpose? What's this infrastructure for? And it's helpful to model that off of an organism if you'd like to. And then you can turn toward the future, which is, how do I contribute with my past and present capabilities, understanding of the past, to potentials for the future? Ones that include me, and ones that I'd be willing to live in. And if you can do that, I think you can do as Tokito says, in a modern sense. Because you and me, I mean, I don't know what you get up to on the weekends, but I don't have a sword and go out kill demons. I don't know that they exist. I don't think they do. At least not in the physicalized form that they do here. I think demons fucking exist. And I don't mean ethereal entities made of evil. I mean human beings. And I mean ideas. Racism. Kind of a devil, right? Kind of a demon, right? I see things that way sometimes. So maybe go out and slay those. That could work. But in a more stable, normalized context, you have a world to face, and you probably don't know who you are very well. I don't. It can be really useful to figure out where you came from, where you're at, and that can point you in the direction of where you're going. So, it's both. It's not just who he really is in terms of the mountain made of layers of paint, of literal work that he's put in to become a confident swordsman and fighter. It's not just that, but it is that. It's also the history, the knowledge of his brother, the reason, the purpose. In the same way that that familial element drives Tanjiro to take those recovery breaths when his family talks to him, that history drives Tokito to become strong, and to fight, and to eliminate the demons, and to have a reason. So it's both. Wouldn't it be great to have that same feeling in your real life. I've had it before. I don't quite have it right now. It's coming back a little bit. But having that same feeling of being sunk in, knowing where you're at, knowing where you're going, being confident in it, knowing that it's the right thing to be doing, and having no qualms or compunctions about it. Dug in with all your might and ready. It's a really good feeling. It's a really, really good feeling. And I think that if you get yourself ironed out, you can actually really achieve it. In fact, I know it. I know it because I was that way for a number of months, and I slipped out of it because it's really hard to maintain, I think. Or maybe it's just a failing, stuttering step on my part, trying out high effort for a period of time doesn't last forever. But I was there, and I could be again, and I think I'm moving toward that again. So, and I'd recommend it. It's like as Tokito says at the beginning, I'm really in the zone. That is what it feels like for weeks out on end. Really in the zone. Like, got it together. This is good. And I think that a large part of that has to do with a certain degree of stability and a certain degree of purpose and fulfillment and belief that what you're doing is correct. So maybe I need to evaluate and make sure, see if there are any things that I can do consciously to move more in that direction, to facilitate the move in that direction. I don't know. I really like the sequence. I really like the unshakable self idea. I think it's really potent. I think each of us has this concept that, well, maybe not. I think each of us who's experienced confidence and competence before has this aspect. Actually, I think everyone has, to some extent, even on something simple. If you can walk confidently and competently, then you know what this feels like. You can dig in with all your might. You are confident and competent in your ability to walk. You can even play with it, dance around, right? Do a little spin, right? You're competent and confident in that one thing. What if you were that confident in your ability to speak publicly, for example? I am. Have been for a long time. I've got the history and the training and the stage experience and all that jazz, right? And debate experience and all that jazz. It's like walking. You know? If I haven't done it for a couple days, it's gonna be a little but it's like walking. What if you could be that confident about any of the other things in your life? How about writing an essay? You're that confident about it. Unshakable. Done. Happy. What about drawing? Yeah, I can draw that. No problem. Done. Ooh, yeah. Good stuff. So it's both. I really like the idea. And I think the idea that I'll add to it is that I think you can expand your unshakability. So that's my take. This is sort of my takeaway that I'm building out of this. At the center of you, there is an unshakable core self. And that's your self-identity insofar as it actually matches with reality. So you could have a very shakeable core self, which is, I'm the sexiest, best, strongest, most handsomest, most richest human in the world. And then you're going to see a mirror and a person who's taller than you and a richer person and a handsomer person. And you're going to be like, oh no, very shakeable, not true. But if your unshakable sense of self is, I am a person who will not lie. I will not lie. I will not. Unshakable. You put me in a circumstance that tests that, and I will not. You probably shouldn't hold that as your principle. It should be, I will not lie except in extenuating circumstances, because you can make some bad extenuating circumstances. Axe murder at the door, child hiding in the attic. Do you tell the axe murder? No. So, yeah. But that can be an unshakable foundation. And then my corollary to it is that you can expand upon it. You can build upon that, can't you? So, unshakable foundation is your ability to walk. What if it were unshakable in your ability to run? Expand upon it, right? Right? A few years ago, I would have been utterly unconfident in my ability to get under 225 pounds and squat it. Now I could guarantee you that I could do it right now without a warm-up. if I absolutely had to. Like, I'd be able to do it. Unshakable. Supremely confident in that capacity. What things in your life are you not unshakable toward? What things in your life shake you? What about interpersonal relationships? How you interact with other people and are treated by them and treat them back, right? What if you were confident in your ability to do that? Man, that'd be great for me. It'd be really cool. Or create. Or build. Or drive. Or even your workplace work, right? Man, that's a potent concept, I think. It's not super duper novel, but it's potent. It's useful. It's useful. All right, well, I'm gonna go write a book about this dumb concept and sell it for $0 on Amazon. No, that is what most entrepreneurial-minded people would do with this kind of thing. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm interested in this idea because I'm interested in improving myself and becoming a better human being. And so this strikes me as immediately high utility, very useful as a framing device, an unshakable self. I'm gonna be thinking about this as we move forward. I'm actually gonna say, what if we think about that in context of Kanroji? There's an unshakable person. The only thing that she's, like, wibbly about, really, is romance. Everything else, she's just like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go fight it over a demon. Pure confidence. I wonder, given that that's our next episode, I wonder where she got that, because I don't think that she was born with it. I think that she may have chosen that, and I'm really curious to see how she did so. Just from the visuals in the OP, just from the dark version of her and the light version of her, standing and watching that one pass by backward, turning and facing reality in the future. I think she made some conscious choices, you know? I don't know what those will be. Alright, he does badly. It comes back around. The kid knows how to prevent a death. Hey, yeah, if your friend starts foaming at the mouth and they begin choking on the foam, clear their airway. Put your finger in their mouth and clear their airway. Put your finger in their mouth and clear their airway. They'll die. They'll die. Get over it. Get over it. Okay, still going on the sword. Good. I think we're mostly done with what we need to talk about the episode. This little moment where we get with family is nice. And bam, we're in it, and it's bad. We build up the badness of how bad this is pretty solidly. The moment where it clomps down next to him and his foot just... Whoa, that'll do it. The other side of having an enemy who's totally unfazed by your existence. Bong, bong, bong. Much scarier. Our full triple squad cannot do anything against him. He's got all of the powers. Big boom booms, sonic waves, and a perfect time to have a cute magical girl. I'm not going to talk about the Vor stuff. God, her appearance is so cool. I mean, the way she appears. It's hopeless. It's hopeless. There's no hope. And in the depths of the darkest despair. A light across the moon. A shadow doing a freaking split flip. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But of course, that's the point, right? She's having so much fun with it. Able to continuously have a blast with it. The music for her is amazing. She brings the party. This girl is from a different show. Girl's from a different show. Maho Shoujo. Somebody said that she's Maria from Symphogear, and yep, they're right. They are correct. Whip sword, friends, pink hair, big titties. All of the things. I still have some weirdness. I think we'll talk about it next episode. We're just not going to talk about it this episode, I think. The way that this character is sexualized is so strange to me because it's always having its cake and eating it too. It's always like maximum sexualization with minimum sexualization. The magic skirt that's literally magic. It's so interesting because I had somebody criticize me for criticizing it, which is reasonable. I'd like to get into these kinds of discussions. I criticized previously how sexualized in it. Not sorry. Let me be clear. Not how sexualized she is. I'm aware that she's not hypersexualized compared to many other characters, but the way in which she's sexualized, where it's only ever the implication, where it's always the magic skirt that never quite shows what it literally, mechanically, physically should, where we're supposed to have her be this sort of demure, pure character, and then she's got a titty cut out. It's way on both sides of the spectrum, and it's trying to have both at once. That's part of why she's so appealing, is because she's exceptionally tantalizingly sexualized and also imaginarily pure. But let's be clear and be frank about this character. This character is highly, highly appealing to the male audience and appealing to the female audience as an emblem for themselves. And maybe the male audience is an emblem for themselves. You know, some people like being femme. She's super duper femme. And none of that is a problem. It's just really weird. It's just really weird. Shonen has always had trouble with sexuality, whether it's going too far into the pervy protagonist style thing where your main character is Meliodas and he's just grabbing titties all the time against the character's consent, or it's on the other side and it's like really weird about the way that it demonstrates sexuality. This is somewhere in a different realm that's in between in its weirdness. It's like it doesn't know how to operate in the realm of the sexual. And it's always been an issue with Kimetsu for all of the female characters, which is really interesting because we have a female author, and that might be contributing to it. It's also weird about the sexuality around the male characters, or at least weird to me. Maybe what I'm actually experiencing is simply a different viewpoint, having been so inundated with male perspectives on female and male sexuality for my entire life. I don't fucking know. But I find it strange, and we're probably going to talk about it next episode. So, yeah. Regardless, the person who criticized the criticism was saying that my criticism didn't make sense because it's so obvious that Kanroji isn't sexualized. Look, all of these scenes happen and we never see her panties. All of these scenes happen and it's like you, Teeaboo, are trying to overlay this other perspective that you're like projecting onto it. And I say to you, no, I'm not. No, I promise you I'm not. We frame these locations for reasons. We don't do it with any of the other characters. And it's all centered around the sexual aspects of the character in a really strange way that's very standoffish. And it feels creepy. How do I put this? It feels like guys trying to pretend that they're not ogling girls. That's what it feels like. Like the trying to pretend that you're not when you are. And it's weird. And we'll see how it plays out next episode. All of that said, I'm sorry for getting diverted by this. It's one of my more it's like a passion button. It gets me talking. When it comes to sex and anime, I'm always fascinated by it. She's literally glowing! So cool. She's flipping and whipping. Again, magic skirt. I think that her actual sword abilities are super cool. And this little momentum, whip! Again, magic skirt, whip! Whee! Super cool. Was she an acrobat at one point, or just something she's capable of? And she seems to have this, like, I'm going to defeat you with the power of love and magic, which is cool and great, but also really would work great if she just gets demolished. If she just gets... Again, I can dream. But we'll find out next episode, and we'll find out what her whole backstory deal is, who she really was before, who she's chosen to be for now. And maybe we'll get to talk about panties and skirts and weird cutout shirt things. Maybe I'll just decide that I won't talk about it because I know that people find it annoying. Let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of this episode and of the reaction and discussion to it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you got something from it. I hope that my little self-interested dive into like trying to work out a way to extract information or value out of Muichiro's arc ended up being interesting to you as well, because I definitely found it interesting, but you know, I like to hear myself talk, so thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week for Kanroji's episode, and see if we can take down this big wood snaky motherfucker who needs to die right now. Thanks for watching. Early access on the Patreon. See you next week. Peace.